So you got the name,
Yeah.
you got the brand, you got the supply.
Yeah.
How do you then go from, right, I've got some pairs of jeans, so I've got 300 pairs of jeans.
Yeah.
I'm going to get someone to advertise them for me. There's been some interest.
Yeah.
So what was that then? How do you go from that to being distributed in retailers, like you were saying, all across the UK?
Oh, God. Before the production arrived, I contacted a guy called Brad Skelly. Literally just DM'd him on Instagram, showed him what I had, and he was like, bloody hell, mate, these look decent, these do. Told him the name, and he was impressed with the name as well. And I said, look, do you want to come down to Brum for a photo shoot? And he was like, yeah, no problem. So literally, I'd never done a photo shoot in my life. Grab a Kev over there.
You had a decent song for that, didn't you?
Yeah. Could have cleaned his lens, still got the marks on it. Kev turned up with
That euphemism.
Kev turned up with a dirty lens. Brad turned up, literally, his mate drove him down for 20 quid petrol. I think I gave him a drink. It was literally just a small little drink. We got the stuff on, we shot it, and I started whacking these pictures on Instagram. And from the back of that, before production arrived, I was getting a lot of interest, just with regards to the jeans, but also the brand. And I had no product in my hand. I literally had the product arrived. So I built up sort of a demand. The demand must have been going on for months and months, because it was still in that stage of me negotiating and getting the money as well. The photo shoot had gone on before I'd even done the balance transfer on the credit card. So that demand that I was building up was happening before I even financed it. So from that, I set up a website on Shopify, which was quite basic and very straightforward. I literally had the production arrive at my house, which was a 2-bed terraced house where I was at work, and the wife phoned me up saying, there's 2 pallets here of boxes. I don't know where the hell you think you're going to put them. So, yeah, I had a 2-bed little house, which was literally full of boxes. And I mean, the toilet round the window was just full of these jeans. I literally was sitting watching the TV with boxes of jeans in front of me, having my that is no word of a lie. And I've got photos somewhere and I need to pull them out. So yeah, but I said to her, right, I'm launching. I think it was about April the 23rd. I said, I'm hitting the button. I'm no IT geek or anything like that. So I sort of set it up on Shopify. I told everyone on Instagram, it's going live. And we went out. We thought, right, we'll go for a nice cheap meal down at the local boozer for $4.99 or something. So we went there, and I says, let's just see what happens. So because I knew there was quite a lot of demand, I hit the button, and there wasn't a sale came in.
So you were expecting?
I was expecting, yeah. We never had no sales come in, because I found out I hadn't matched any payment options at the checkout. So literally,
You had a bottleneck of interest.
there was people on the website couldn't check out, and I was sitting there waiting for a chicken biryani I'd ordered. I think it was like, curry and a pint and a naan for $6. Yeah, it was actually, I think it was down Longbridge. So literally, my biryani was on order. I had to leave the wife and the kids and drive all the way back to the house. This is true. Never forget it. And I had to connect payment options. But I think once I'd done that, because everyone was like messaging, so I probably lost out on quite a number of sales. I think we sold about 40, 50 pairs the first night, which I was like, bloody hell. Do you know what I mean? So about 30 orders, but it was about 40 pairs within, you know what I mean? So I was completely shocked.
Yeah, good friends and family were buzzing about it, man. I see quite a good network of people buzzing for you. So
yeah,
that's a lot, and obviously some of your fans of my family and bits and pieces. So you knew that he was going to shift.
I think a lot of people thought I was mental, going, who does he think he is? What's he trying to do here? So yeah, no, it was good. I had a lot of people share it. We built up quite a lot of interest. I can't remember how many. We built quite a few thousand followers as well on the pre-London Instagram. So we did have quite a bit of interest. And it was great. It was like before the algorithm. And as I say, when you post, everyone could see it. I think, obviously, I don't want to digress, but Instagram isn't what it used to be. There's no social platform like that other than TikTok now at the minute.
Yeah, heard that, isn't everything now? TikTok shop is taking over.
So, yeah, it was a good launch. Bit of a frightening launch. And I got back, had my biryani, and then celebrated, look.
There you go. You kind of pioneered in the whole creating a buzz. So inadvertently by setting your website up as you intended to, you probably then created this queue effect. People wanted it even more.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Yeah.
Oh, Jaws effect in it.
There was like
showing the monster.
Like having to
I think
the iPads, the initial iPads that came out, buddy, you had to register. And then if the picture, yes, the pictures.
For Glastonbury tickets now. So Glastonbury, it's the whole register. You may not get a ticket.
Yeah.
Or limited. You may not get.
Yeah.
It creates that buzz there.
Yes, they're gonna let you pay £1,500 to go watch a festival for 2 days. Yes.
Well, that was like me. I think I was telling people must have been, and I've spoke to people since. I must have been telling them for like 6 months this product was coming, and they were like, "It's never coming." And I was like, but obviously they didn't know what was going on in the background. So yeah, it did create that buzz and that hype, which was great. But also, but at the time I was being watched then by Foot Asylum, who were watching obviously what was going on in the background, which was great because they were watching me for quite a while, but I hadn't even launched. So literally after a couple of months on launch, one of the buyers reached out to me, just DM me on Instagram saying, "Hi mate, we love what we see. We love this brand. Can we meet up?" So, and I was still working full time. I was still working. My wife was picking and packing and taking the orders to the post office on a daily basis. And literally our room the boxes were disappearing. So I was getting my house back as well. So they reached out to me. I don't think I applied straight away. I spoke to one of the guys I was working with. And he said to me, "Look, go and meet him." And I said, "How can I go and meet a huge retailer? I just can't do it." And he went, "Of course you can, look what you've done." And I was like, "Do you know what? Let's do it then. Shall I do it?" So I messaged them and I said, "Look, I'll meet you, no problem." And they wanted me to either come up to their HQ at Manchester, or they said, "We'll come down to Birmingham." And obviously, because I was working full time, I was like, "Look, can you come down to Birmingham?" I didn't tell them I was working. I think I was trying to act like I was the biggest thing coming up there. And he said, "Yeah, no problem." I arranged to meet with him at lunchtime. I had literally was in my suit in the office, and I had to get the guy I worked next to cover me, because I said to him, "Look, if anyone asks where I've gone here, if this goes over an hour of my lunch, just say he wasn't feeling very well." So I was sort of like, I went in the toilet. I went in the toilets, put my t-shirt on and my jeans on. I went straight to Cafe Nero in the Bullring Link and met with him. And I had my bag of product, I had a few of my t-shirts, my jeans. I literally met with a guy called Danny. And I sat down with him. Good Northern lad, to be fair. And I just got him a product, and I was shaking. Like, I was there going, this is... So I pulled it all out, and he was talking about, because obviously I'd sort of been networking with him Instagram, and he was like, "Oh God, I can't believe you've been dealing with that person in it, this person." I said, yeah, I'm just obviously trying to grow it as quickly as possible, because it's important. And he sat down and he said, "Look, I'm going to be honest with you, this is some of the best product we've ever seen from a guy who's not even worked in the industry." And I said, "Well, it was always about quality. And like, if you buy designer," which I was wearing a bit of design at the time, I went, "It's about quality, isn't it? And that's what I wanted this product to be about." But then he went to me, he said, "But it's the brand." And I said, "What do you mean, the brand?" To be fair, I didn't see Pre-London as a brand. And I never went out to set up a brand or start a brand. And he went, "But this name, this Pre-London, I think it's massive." And I was like, "What?" And he went, "You've just put it on a couple of t-shirts, and obviously jeans are jeans." He said, "Look, jeans are jeans." He says, "But we think that you can put this name on so many different things. That logo is brilliant." And I was like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." And this was at the first meeting with him. I was sitting there going, he said, "Look, I think we'll do a buy." And I was like, "A buy?" And he said, "Yeah, we'll do a buy." And I says, okay. And he went, I'll be in touch. And literally, I think I was there about 2.5 hours. I was sweating, getting back to the office, thinking, I'm going to be in trouble here. My gaffer's going to be on my case here, going, where's he been? But I was buzzing. So yeah, I went back and I said to my mate, I said, look, it went really well. And he went, oh, right, okay. I said, I think they're going to buy. And he says, well, what are you going to do then? I said, what do you mean? He said, how are you going to fund a buy for a retailer? I says, I don't know. I said, but I'll do it. So, yeah, I think I waited.
Mad at it.
Yeah, it was just unreal. I think it took probably a couple of weeks. I think it was probably 2 weeks. Contact me, and he said, look, we're going to put our first order down. I think it was wholesale. Obviously, it was like a wholesale order to me. It was about 30k, about £30,000 order. It was sort of 20 to 30,000 pound, and he was like, "Look, this is just us testing it in, I think it was 4 or 5 stores." And I was like, "What?" And he went, "Yeah, we have to test the brand first, and we'll just pick 4 or 5 stores,
market research,
to see whether it works or not for us." And he says, "Can you handle this production?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem, mate." And he said, "I'll send you the purchase orders." And I was like, "Okay." I thought, I don't even know what a purchase order is. So yeah, he just literally sent me the order through. I think it was probably manufacturing costs of around, I don't know, 12 grand, something like that. And again, I was back to that square point going, how the hell am I going to finance this?
So what did you do then? Did you then, obviously armed with that purchase order, is that what you then show them to say, look, or did I still, no, I need the money?
Do you know what? I was working with 2 factories. One to obviously manufacture the t-shirts, and another one was for the jeans, because I'd then gone on and obviously produced t-shirts as well with the branding name. The guy at the jeans factory, he's not only nearly 12 months, this guy, it's gone on that long. So I messaged him first of all, and I said, look, this is the situation I'm in. I've secured an order. And he said, who with? I told him, and he was like, bloody hell, I know who they are. So I was like, really? He went, yeah, massive. Then he was like, have you got purchase orders? And I went, yeah. And he said, look, send them over. We'll make them. When you get paid, you pay us. And I was like, what? And he said, look, we've done this sort of bit of business. We've been communicating for a long time now. I shall trust you. Send it over. When you get paid, because he said, how long is it? I think it's 30 days. And he said, we'll check on that. And he said, look, we'll wait.
Had you met him by this point yet still?
No, I hadn't met him by then. The problem is what was going on at the time. There was the war in Syria, so Turkey was a bit of a dangerous place to go to as well. And there wasn't really advising on travel. I don't know if you remember back then. It was sort of like a place where it was a bit frowned upon going to Turkey because of what was going on. No, I hadn't. So yeah, he done that again with the t-shirt factory. Again, I said to them, they done exactly the same thing for me.
So the tables turned from you taking the leap of faith for 7.5 to take the leap of faith for 12.
And do you know what? Looking back, it's very rare that you get, especially in this day and age, that factories will do that for you. Yeah, even though as big as we got as well, we still had certain factories that still want deposit stuff. So yeah, I'm grateful and thankful for both of those factories that did support me at the start, because without them, I wouldn't have got anywhere. I would have just been with,
still a dream.
A few hundred pairs of jeans and standing a bit. So yeah. So then, yeah, we went in.
I assume at that point, you had to put aside him.
If I'd have... Well, this is the biggest problem now they've got, is that obviously a lot of people can't obviously afford to manufacture the production, so it can be difficult to get off the ground. I had a conversation with another brand just quite recently, and he again had interest with another big retailer, but I had to turn it down because he couldn't finance it. And I was like, oh mate, where he didn't do what probably I did and just sort of said, I can't bear this, and was straight out, where I was like, I can do it, and I'll just figure it out as I go. But I'll figure it out.
This is the problem. In the UK at the minute with financing, business financing, there's a lot of talk about the support for small businesses, but it's not there. The banks, certain banks, I know with our banking, the support isn't there. The 10 years ago for anything. So you're being directed elsewhere then, and I imagine for startups, some of the finance available is probably eye-watering in regards to APR, interest payments, broker fees. It's probably daunting. A lot more daunting than it was.
We had a conversation the other day unless you are in debt with these guys, they don't want to know.
Really?
Net zero for them all. They're like, no, well, you haven't got an account with us and you haven't got this for this. And
I've been lucky. I've never had to secure any finance. But I've also never had a relationship with my bank. They've never once approached me, and like we've turned over millions and millions, and not once have I ever had a phone call off a business advisor or anyone within the bank to even offer any support or any advice. The only thing, obviously, because of the large sort of business that we have done over the years, we always got then looked at going, how are you guys turning over millions? So we sort of had us looking at us on the other side of the table instead of like going, bloody hell, this brand, this business is really doing well. So yeah, but I didn't even go to any kind of like business sort of like, what do you call it, business advisory groups or anything like that. I never seeked any kind of support from the Chamber of Commerce or anything. I probably did it the complete opposite way to anyone else. Never had a business plan. Didn't do any of it. I rigged up the rule book and sort of like just went, I'm just going to do it how I think I can.
Unorthodox.
Yeah, I know. Which, you know.
Followed your gut, didn't you?
Yeah.
Followed your gut and it worked out.
Yeah.
So let's go then to the C word, COVID.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So pre and post COVID, we know obviously businesses were affected in different ways. Some positive, mostly negative. What did that look like for you?
Pre-COVID was fantastic for us. Obviously, we're doing brilliant business with Foot Asylum. We were supplying to independent retailers as well. So I think Foot Asylum got about, I don't know, I think 60. They had about 60 stores, 65. So we were supplying all those stores. Also probably supplying another 30 independent stores in England. Trying to think whether we were in Ireland then. I think we were.
Helping you.
Yeah, we were also supplying
Stuff and you're doing Deviate then.
Deviate,
Yeah.
biggest retailer in Ireland. We were supplying them 50 stores they've got, and then again probably another 30 independents. So we were doing a lot of business pre-COVID, flying. When COVID hit, it was massive. It was scary for me personally. It was suddenly then obviously we've gone into this lockdown, which no one knew what was going on. Retailers closing. We've got productions, retail orders in production, facing six-figure numbers of productions going, well, what the hell's going to go on with this? No one knowing how long it was going to last for. I'll be honest with you, I think Foot Asylum were really good with us. They were supportive. They didn't leave us in any of the... in any trouble, to be fair. They did sort of follow through with anything they ordered and, really good. But with regards to all our other retailers, because we had a lot of independent retailers, we were left with a huge amount of stock. And I mean, it could have been a couple 100,000, 200 grand's worth of stock with no chance of selling it or no chance of sending it into the retailer. So, and with fashion, stock and seasons, it moves quickly. So you've only got a shelf life for probably, maybe 6 to 8 weeks on stock. So yeah, it was a scary time. But on the flip side of that, our website went absolutely mental. It went from, I don't know, I think at one point we couldn't. We obviously had our own in-house warehouse, and I think there was 4 in the warehouse at the time. And I think even with 6, 7, 8 of us, we couldn't keep up, and we were working like 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, because I imagine at that time, literally, work stopped for everyone, didn't it? We had that beautiful summer.
Yeah.
Well, spring summer, where it's roasting out, and literally everyone lived on the internet, didn't they? Doing dances and everything that went with that. Everything seemed to be, everyone was driven to social media. So I imagine, e-commerce-wise,
people were just buying. They were getting, obviously, there was a lot of furlough around.
a lot of money for nothing.
People having probably spending less because they weren't going out, so they had a bit of extra money in their pocket. So what were they going to do if they couldn't go out on a Friday or Saturday night? So they were buying, people probably were bored and buying, and that was the same with us. And I think looking back, it was a crazy mental time, but it was we shifted all our wholesale stock, which we got to the point where I've never seen so much stock that we went through. And I think a lot of other e-com, brands were in the same position. So it was a great time, but such a busy time as well, where a lot of people were resting, were having, going for walks.
But how polarising that time was, when 78% of the population was sitting around, nothing to do, drinking or doing homeschooling. And then there was another side of the population that were still working, having to work harder than probably they'd ever worked because numbers were down, people were furloughed. And even in our industry, there were people being brought back because they were seen to be high performers. Yeah. So they were kind of punished in a strange way. Yeah. They brought back first because people that didn't perform as well were left at home. Yeah. For only 20% less.
I think we lost a couple of people as well because they weren't comfortable working. So they didn't want it. They didn't want to, because obviously maybe they had people that were vulnerable around them. So that was that was fine. And they went on furlough because it was one of those things where you couldn't really force anyone in, because obviously it was times where no one knew what was going on. So, and that's where even we lost a few people, but we still had to operate our business, and we could operate a business at the time. So I had to jump in and do the picking and packing every day, which it was great because it took me out of being stuck in the house. It was mad times, wasn't it? But but crazy sales for us, brilliant. It was a brilliant time, but a very busy time as well.
A bit of sponsorship going on with the Blues at that time.
It's a great deal that you got there, mate. Just got in at the right time.
Yeah, it was massive for me. I was a partner of the club, just at probably the worst time you could ever be a partner of the club. So done a sponsorship deal, being a partner, and then suddenly there was no football. Fans couldn't go, anything like that. So it was such an awful time for me, but great because obviously then we had the banner behind the goal, and
the games did open back up then. It was in your face.
It was there, yeah.
It was that good, was it?
We were obviously playing behind closed doors, but literally it was in the right prime spot for when the opposition scored. We were on Scott. People are like going, if I see that pre-London banner once more. But it was great coverage for us, and it was even like Foot Asylum mentioned it, and I think we were doing the LED boards, and that was a time when they didn't do the boards, and they were like, what are you going to get from, sponsoring Birmingham City, which a lot of people will say. But what I noticed is Foot Asylum do a lot of the LED boards now, because, I was like, do you know what? It's our customers. It's, guys in their 20s watching footy. You know what I mean? I think it's where you target them, yeah. So,
I've always said that similar to my advertising down there, is that it's not going to get you direct sales. It's hard to monetize or police what you get, but it's just familiarity, isn't it? They see that, and they see people walking around, because at the time then, everyone was walking around in pre-London and stuff. Yeah. But in Birmingham, you'd see it and you'd be like, oh, yeah. We'd see your pre-London bit in Foot Asylum, everyone would be taking photos, sending you loads of stuff. And it's same as Certified Pro installs down here that you're not going to see it on the thing and be like, oh, okay.
We don't like different, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's B to B as opposed to B to C. This is literally where your money comes from, doesn't it? Like, say, the people that are...
Yeah, it's hard to... You couldn't measure it. That's the difficult thing. And I think that was always things that I learned along the way, is that there's certain things you did, it was very hard to measure. But I think it just gives... what's the word? It gives confidence in people, when they see something, go, bloody hell, that's actually a big brand, or a big thing, that is. So it sort of builds that sort of like...
It's not a flash of the pan, they're not cowboys. It's an actual brand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think we did it across not just Birmingham City. We sponsored a lot of championship games. We were doing a lot of championship games, whether it was Fulham, Stoke. We were doing a lot of championship games at the time, so it was just sort of reinforced that. Trying to just make sure we didn't just sort of like be attached to one football club, and that's what I was a bit concerned about. Obviously, being a fan, I love jumping in. I sponsored the FA Cup shirt against Leicester, and we had the logo on the sleeve, and that was a big thing for me. But you don't sometimes want to be associated with one club, but also then fans from Birmingham were there going, why is this London brand, pre-London, sponsoring us? So again, it was trying to.
I saw that you got some backlash on the social.
Yeah, got a bit of backlash over that because because people don't understand it. People didn't understand why this London brand was interested. So, yeah, in hindsight, that was me going, "Oh bloody hell, this is London coming to bite me in the ass." There, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there any advice that you would give to budding designers? Like you say, you never went to fashion school, did you?
No.
It wasn't
No fashion experience, no education within it.
Yeah, is there anything that you've learned within your journey run the business that you would kind of pass on as knowledge to anyone looking to do a similar thing? Or is there anything that you were kind of mentored on the way?
I think the biggest advice that I can give anyone if they're looking to obviously start a business is just have a go. Don't be scared to have a go. It might not work out. I've done previous things to pre-London, not nothing obviously on this scale, but don't be afraid to go through the process and get knockbacks and failures. And I think a lot of people are scared to maybe even go down that path, that journey to even maybe try. People think to themselves, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I think sometimes you just got to go through the process and try.
There was something before that I'd read, and it was people will actively encourage celebrities and people that they don't know, famous people, when they see them doing things. Oh, look, they're bringing out a clothing range. Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? Whereas friends and family, they'll get knocked back and they'll get a ribbing. So people will be more happy to kind of encourage people that they don't know, follow their dreams to be creative than people that do know.
Yeah. So many people tell you can't do something. There's not many people that tell you can do it. People will say, or side on the cautiousness of this or that, and they'll say, do you think you can do that? And I think it's so easy to be not confident with what you're going to do, where with regards to like someone supporting you saying you could do that, it's very rare, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is it, like you see a lot of celebrities, a lot of people with, high profiles doing certain things, but not all of them succeed either, but they'll probably get more support on those areas. So
I noticed that there was quite a few other celebs that were wearing.
Yeah.
That was kind of your business.
Yeah, it was sort of built on that back then, where you sort of got in a lot of high profile people, whether they'd been on TV, sports. Like we had all different people in it with regards to footballers, actors, reality TV stars, that kind of thing. So yeah, you do need that, and I think at the start you do need the support of people sharing. But I think when you start growing, you do get probably that sort of drops off a bit as well. I had my Instagram, which was pretty open to most people, which it's private now. But when we were doing really well, I used to obviously allow any customers, follow the brand, to obviously follow myself as well. And I used to post my successes, things that I'd achieved and things that I thought, I'd done well from getting, or maybe even buying from one of my boys or something. But I could get someone I don't know who follows me, then inbox me and give me a load of grief saying, do you think, that's right, buying your son? I don't know whether, I think my boy always wanted a pair of Gucci trainers, and I think I'd done that. I bought him a pair and it was a big thing for him, and I posted it, but I got a bit of backlash off that saying, do you think it's really the way? But obviously they don't understand that actually that was a big thing.
Well, it took for you to get there.
But a pair of designer shoes don't mean anything either. So, but you do get that backlash. You do get people saying, are you doing this right? Are you doing that right? So for me personally then, I stopped probably putting a lot of my personal life over on social media, or any purchases or anything I was doing. I sort of reined that back in.
So the thing really that kind of got you out there.
Yeah.
The building blocks to success, you've then had to dial back on.
Yes. I sort of come back off it, and even to this day, I don't put myself out there at all. This is my first ever podcast. I don't talk on my social media about anything I've done, anything we are doing, because of that. It's so easy to get negative comments, negative backlash, and it is anyone to say something positive, isn't it?
Yes, so you said there, this is the first podcast you've done, so really appreciate you coming in.
No problem.
Time.
No, thanks for coming on.
No, cheers, thank you. No, thanks for having me.
Let's look in the future.
Cheers, no, thanks.